most people, assuming that it fuses well and the pain goes away, which I bet it will, most people will notice that he walks better, not worse.
I got to be honest, the last 3 minutes or so of this chat has me ready to run through the 2024, maybe 2025 Tiger Woods wall. Fore Play, right? Barstool Sports. We got a big show. Obviously, the Tiger Woods news broke on Wednesday, so we did our best. We got huge help from our friend Dr. Brett McCabe, who put us in touch with an expert, a surgeon when it comes to ankles and feet. We got Dr. Norman E. Waldrop, who is a board certified. He's the fellowship trained orthopedic surgeon specializing in foot and ankle surgery at the Foot and Ankle Center at Andrews Sports Medicine. He's a huge golfer. He literally had to, give us a bit of an hour or so before he could come on because he's finishing up a round of golf. He does a fantastic job of going through the Tiger situation, the most up to date, his issues that he has noticed with golf, the courses where his ankle has struggled more than others, and how he thinks it's going to help or hurt or play out going forward. So you'll just have to listen to that. We're going to lead off with that since obviously the Tiger Woods news is huge. We happen to like Tiger Woods on this show. And then immediately after that, Frankie joins myself, Trent. We go through the Zurich Classic, the New York Islanders, everything that's going on in the world of golf and our weeks and the whole deal. So without further ado, we are going to throw it to an ankle and foot surgeon who's going to quite professionally go through the Tiger Woods situation. All right, folks, we're joined today by a very special guest who has incredibly impressive title and just the way that this man is addressed compared to the rest of us. This is Dr. Norman E. Waldrop III as well. Is that correct?
That's correct. You didn't have to give the whole thing, though.
I like it. We have a Frank Borelli III on our show. So, sometimes when he's being perhaps a bad boy, we kind of call him by his full name, Frank Borelli III. But yours is much more legitimate. We've got you on. You are a board certified, fellowship trained orthopedic surgeon who specializes in foot and ankle surgery at the Foot and Ankle Center and Andrews Sports Medicine. Obviously, the Tiger Woods news came out, but you clearly do a lot of very impressive work in this field. I'm very curious because when this announcement came out from Tiger, it might as well have been in Japanese to us. When this first came across your radar, I assume you understood this better than we did.
Yeah, so, the news that he released today is that he had a subtalar fusion by Dr. Marty O'Malley up at HSS in New York City. Obviously that's pretty big news. That's certainly a big deal and certainly explains a lot of things about what's been going on with him. Marty has taken care of some of the best athletes in the world. I mean, he's got a list longer than you can name. So Tiger certainly is just additive to that list, and he's in great hands for sure. But certainly this is big news for Tiger and explains a lot about what was going on at Augusta for him and other places for sure.
So let's sort of break this down through the statement. So it says he had a subtalar fusion procedure to address his post-traumatic arthritis from his previous talus fracture. What does that mean in English?
Yeah, so a lot of people are going to, first of all, say, oh my gosh, he had his ankle fused. He did not have his ankle fused. So there are two parts to the hind foot. There's the ankle, and then there's the joint below it, the subtalar joint. So the subtalar joint is the joint below the ankle. So his ankle will still work. So the up and the down of the ankle will still work. So the subtalar joint, which is the joint below the talus, which was the one that he fractured, which controls the side-to-side movement, is the one that gets fused. Generally speaking, in the world, we do subtalar fusions for mainly one reason. There's some other reasons, we won't get into that, but the one reason is pain. And if you've noticed Tiger over the past 2 years, it's been obvious he's been in a lot of discomfort. And so obviously the level had reached a point where it was affecting the things that he likes to do. live life and play golf. And so that is the reason why you do that subtalar fusion. And so that he had reached the point where he and his physician had decided, okay, at this point, it's worth doing.
So the post-traumatic arthritis, that's the pain we're talking about, or is that something else?
No, that's exactly it. So when you have a fracture like he had, which was obviously a significant injury, a lot of times what happens is the cartilage in that joint, so the lining, the cushion in the joint gets damaged and it goes bad, and you end up with bone-on-bone arthritis. And that bone-on-bone contact hurts. And in the subtalar joint, unlike, say, the knee or the hip, you hear about knee replacements and hip replacements and things like that. So we do knee replacements and hip replacements for arthritis. We're replacing the joint. In the subtalar joint, we don't really have that option. So the number one option is to fuse it. And what we're doing with that fusion is simply just trying to get those two bones to grow together. When those two bones grow together, there's no joint. When there's no joint, there's no pain. So you're giving a trade-off, which is no pain, for the lack of motion. And we can certainly get into that, how that will affect his golf here in a little bit.
Yeah. So you're a big golfer. I believe you're a scratch golfer. But shout out to Dr. Brett McCabe, our guy who kind of set this up and described you as a scratch golfer. So you know the game of golf. You watched Tiger over the last year and a half. You know a lot about, you know, as much as anyone on earth, I think, about ankles and feet and injuries and rehab and motion, everything you just described, and what a lot of us, I think, learned, you know, from 2017 when Tiger had the back fusion, is kind of this fusion situation can help out a lot on the pain front and take care of a lot of things, but it can limit your motion. So as someone who knows golf, knows this situation really well, what are sort of the, I know you're not going to be able to predict exactly the outcome, but what are some of the general kind of outlooks and differences, pros, cons that you would expect in the golf game from something like this?
So that's a great question. So I think let's do two things. Let's look in hindsight. So the subtalar motion, as I talk to all my patients, is what works on uneven ground. So golf courses are played on uneven ground. And so it's brought out by walking on unlevel surfaces, which golf courses are. So some golf courses are worse than others, right? So if you go back and look at Tiger's history, he struggled at Southern Hills, which is up and down, right? He has had difficulty at Augusta, which is maybe the most uneven level golf course in the world when it comes to the fairways.
Yep.
So that is where that joint is working the hardest. If you look at the Open Championship, a lot flatter golf course. His subtalar joint doesn't have to work as hard. His ankle can absorb most of that motion. He does okay. Riviera, once you get off the hill, is pretty flat. Same thing. His subtalar joint doesn't have to work as hard. So he's clearly been picking and choosing what works and what doesn't in terms of how hard that joint has to work. So if you look at it in hindsight, it certainly makes sense. He struggled at Augusta where that uneven surfaces brings out the most. I always tell my patients bunkers is where they're going to see it the most. If you go back and look at Tiger, he struggled some out of those bunkers. If you remember some of his fairway shots, he hit one-legged out of bunkers because he has to work that joint really hard. And so the trade-off he's going to see is less motion, obviously lack of motion in that joint, for pain relief, which sometimes is actually a positive trade-off. You get rid of the pain, even though the joint's not moving, it doesn't hurt. And when it doesn't hurt, he loses the fear of what's going to happen when he hits the shot on that unlevel lie. So a lot of times, even though he's getting the restriction of the motion, he's getting the positive effect of it's not going to hurt. And he's such a great golfer and such an elite athlete that I bet he's going to be able to adjust for that lack of motion.
So what's it going to look like when he does play?
This direction.
You know, hopefully when he plays Augusta the next time, and that Taylor, I'm not pronouncing any of these correctly, by the way, is fused up. Is fused up. Is it like, does it still make it, you can still walk those golf courses? Is it going to look different? Is it going to feel different? What's that going to look like?
Well, It may not look different. It may look better, honestly. To the untrained eye, just to the regular Joe Blow who's watching him walk, they may actually think he walks better because he's not going to have as much of a limp. His subtalar joint may not have the normal give to it on that uneven level, but if you're not in pain, the fear avoidance goes away, and so he may walk actually better. Now there's going to have to be some compensations because the subtalar joint works in the golf swing. It does. It works on the side to side, the through motion on the right foot, on the left foot as you get on your left side. It works hard. So there's going to have to be some compensation, but he's going to be able to do it. And so most people, assuming that it fuses well and the pain goes away, which I bet it will, most people will notice that he walks better, not worse.
Interesting.
Wow. I got to be honest, the last 3 minutes or so, this chat has me ready to run through the 2024, maybe 2025 Tiger Woods wall. I mean, you're talking. Well, he's a great athlete. Yeah, he'll lose a little bit of motion, but as long as that pain's not there, he'll figure it out. That's literally what happened with the back, where it was a disaster for like 5 years. Everything they tried didn't work. Finally bit the bullet, fused it up, which is crazy risky, but it eliminated all that pain. It left him quite stiff, and he had to figure out the range of motion. But he won the Masters, and he won 2 other events, and he, ascended to one of the best players in the world again. So,
what age and scenario do you guys usually see an injury like this and a procedure like this?
I mean, to be honest with you, man, it's all over the board. So a lot of times with post-traumatic arthritis like this, I mean, you see it in young people who've had car wrecks. You see it in older people who've developed it for different reasons. So it's all over the board. I mean, I've done it as young as teenagers before because they've either, because they've been in a car wreck, et cetera, and they can live their life pretty normally. And to be honest with you, if you ask me and you pin me down and I had to have a fusion in the midfoot or the hindfoot, this is not one of the worst ones to have. And I think, notwithstanding age and him just getting older, I suspect that he's going to be able to deal with it pretty well. It's going to knock him out for several months. It's a 3 to 4 month recovery, and then he's got to get strong and do all that kind of stuff. So I would expect he's going to miss all the majors this year. But I think it's reasonable to try to point towards next year to play, and I don't see why not. If I was his treating surgeon, I would say absolutely. I don't see why you couldn't play again.
Oh,
okay.
God, doctor.
That's great.
I'm telling you, man, I like this guy. We got to get you on every week. Anytime somebody's negative about Tiger, we just I got to ask you because obviously the arthritis is a result of the trauma and everything that happened to the ankle. This right. Fusion of the subtalar fusion is not the only issue that's going on down in that part of his foot. So this combined with everything else that I'm sure all the details of the different surgeries that he had from the car accident and all of that, you kind of feel as long as this goes well and it fuses properly and he rehabilitates it properly and all that even with all that other stuff that he, likely would be in a better place movement wise with pain and all that than he probably was before this.
Yeah, I think that's the best question you could possibly ask, to be honest with you. So, yes, is the baseline answer to that. Yes, he'll be in a better place. The overall theme, though, is there's a lot of trauma from the car wreck, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just this little area. There's other things. And so there's other things that are going to affect him long term. That's okay. You got to, as a surgeon, try to deal with this stuff. You take the big stuff, you deal with that, then you whittle it down, right? And so you do the things that are going to affect him the most the first. And obviously, this is one of those things that was a glaring problem. So absolutely. And Dr. O'Malley will knock it out of the park, and he's in great hands. And so once he heals up, I fully expect he will be a better version than he was this year. He could still hit the ball. And when you get rid of that pain and he gets rid of the oh my God, when I hit the shot, how bad is this going to hurt? When that goes out of the back of your mind, you lose that fear. And I suspect it's going to make a difference and help him.
I love it. I mean, that's great. That's great news. We're in a good spot then. We've been here before, Trent. We've been here many times before. It's like, all right,
feels like deja vu. It's just a different part of the body, but yeah.
Let's regroup. It's a good thing. Let's get it right. Let's do it properly. Let's get back. We got the best player of all time. I got to ask you, Doctor, well, go ahead if you're going to chime in on that point.
No, what I was going to say is what people don't understand is he's an elite athlete. Elite athletes are different. I've had my fortune or misfortune or however you want to say it of taking care of a lot of them, and they heal different and they do different and they think different and they're just different than me or you guys. Yeah. It's a whole different mentality, and I promise you, they heal differently and they think differently, and you have to use that to your advantage as the treating surgeon and as doctors who deal with that kind of stuff, because they really are just different, and Tiger is in that category, and he's proven it before. And so until he tells us differently from a surgery, I got zero reason to doubt it.
Excellent. You keep getting better and better. I was going to ask you kind of along those lines of, you're a surgeon, you treat elite level athletes. You've seen some injuries, some situations that you have to go into and take care of. What's like the biggest operation, all things considered, star power, implications, trickery of the situation? What's like the biggest moment for you that was your medical, surgical, like Super Bowl that you had to bring it?
I don't know that I can share that. So
I was saying that's definitely some, I think that's a HIPAA violation. I think you just asked him for a HIPAA violation.
So I'm not going to say that. You would be very aware of those situations, and so, but okay. And you would know them. I'm going to let that go. I will. Okay. I will say that ultimately, those guys are motivated different, and you just know that they want to get better, and those top guys, sure, I mean, they got all the money in the world, but they're motivated differently. They heal differently. They want to be different. That's what got them there. And as a surgeon, you're there to help them get back to that level, and you just gotta help them sort of reinstill their confidence that got them there, that you're going to be able to get them back to that level. And I've been there. I mean, believe you me, I've had plenty of sporting events where I've either been there live on the sidelines or on TV where I've held my breath going, "Oh Lord, do your job." Right. That can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but no different in this case. Obviously, Tiger is at the number one top of the list. Doesn't matter where he is in his career, and we all want to see him do well. And I expect him to be back.
I've got an ankle question for you before we let you go. You've been great. You got a lot of information for us. I've got cankles. Are those superior to regular ankles?
That's the best question I've been asked in a while. So cankles, if hidden under an appropriate pair of 5-pocket pants, can be to your advantage. If you are in the appropriate socks and 5-pocket pants, they are to your advantage. But if you're letting the world see them under the wrong pair of shorts and the wrong pair of socks, it can be a real problem. So you've got to use them to your advantage mentally against your opponent.
I just feel like I'm less likely to twist an ankle. And I don't know if that's a mental thing or if it's a real thing, but I feel like I never twist an ankle. And I feel very sturdy.
Tree trunks down there.
That's right. You've got plenty of soft tissue there to help you out. So it's giving you all the support you need.
That's all right. That's the answer I was looking for. Thank you.
That's good, Trent. That's good, man. I'm glad you got that off your chest. That's something I feel like Trent's been dealing with for a long time that he really needed to ask.
We don't have. This is the first time we've had such a guy with a wealth of knowledge about the ankle and the foot, and it's so I figured I had to ask.
So Riggs, I know you're there in New Orleans. That's a little bit of my second home these days, almost. As I help out the Saints, y'all eating some good food, having a good time.
So yes, Yep.
Yes.
So your boy, Dr. Brett McCabe, we're going on tonight. We're going to Mr. B's with him. So we're meeting him at 8:00 at Mr. B's. He raves about that place. And then last night we went to Galliano's and that's
So
that's the correct response.
Make sure you get some good New Orleans barbecued shrimp. Have a good old fashioned, and make sure you finish it off with some good bread pudding, and you're going to be in good shape.
Let's go.
We're mere hours from that. So the excitement's high. Guys stopped eating at lunch today to kind of prepare and keep some open room. So yeah, if there's one guy that we feel like that we have a lot of confidence in that department around town here, Dr. Brett McCabe's done a great job so far.
Awesome. Well, and last thing is shout out to my guy Trey Mullinax, who's you need to go find him. He's the guy I play a lot of golf with here in Birmingham out at Shoal Creek. Go find him, needle him. Give him a hard time. He plays better when you give him a hard time. I promise.
Amazing. We'll do that. We really appreciate it. This info has been fantastic. So we appreciate you taking the time and helping our audience understand what's going on with Tiger and being really quite optimistic about the outlook here.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on, and I am optimistic. We all want to see him back, and until I hear differently, I'm not going to think anything otherwise.
Love it.
I love it. Thank you, Doctor. We appreciate the time.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.
We've been part of the Chevy EV family, but we've got big news. The first ever all-electric Silverado is officially Barstool's most valuable truck. We got the chance to see this puppy. We got the chance to experience it. It's a game changer. Available 400-mile range. GM estimated on a full charge. That's a lot of miles, over 10 feet of length in the bed with the multi-flex tailgate combined with the multi-flex midgate. 10 feet feels like a lot of feet.
That's a lot of feet. That's huge. And the commercial that we shot for these came out great. People are finally getting to see what we talk about every time we talk about Chevy. It's like these things are machines, beautiful, beautiful machines. And I mentioned it on the last time, but 400 miles per charge. I filled up my car the other day, full tank, 300 miles. So you get more out of it, and you don't have to buy gas. You're not burning fuel. It's all EV, baby. So everything's coming up Chevy EV. So you got to get one of these things.
Go check them out. Do yourself a favor. Go to the website. They got the large 17-inch diagonal display screen. It can tow up to 10,000 pounds at max towing, 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds with wow mode up to an impressive 785 foot-pounds of torque. Go on over to Chevy.com to learn more. Go check out their site at Chevy.com because you can toy with the different colors, interiors, build out your own, see what it's going to look like, see what options are there. We're talking Chevy Silverado EV, most valuable truck at Barstool. Head over to Chevy.com to learn more now. Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet, fantastic American company, 100 years. EVs are now in. Silverado EV, which we love. Cool commercial with us and the whole gang, the Barstool podcast families. We got to love Chevy EVs for everyone, everywhere. We got myself, Frankie, and Trent. Frankie is back in Long Island. The Islanders are in one right now. We are in New Orleans at the Zurich Classic. We went to Galliano's last night. Is that the name of that place we went to, Trent?
That's correct. Yeah, it was delicious.
We went to Galliano's last night. Frankie, I know how much you love food. I know how seriously you take it. I know how great of an experience you guys had last year. Our first stop, recommended again by Dr. Brett McCabe, your golf shrink, John Rahm's golf coach in the mental game aspect. He gave us Galliano's, went there last night. Probably the best thing I've ever had so far this year were I guess they were baked oysters that we had. Is that correct, Trent?
Fried? Are they fried there?
No, they're baked. So they gave us the choice. They were like, do you want raw? Excuse me, my voice is going. Do you want raw oysters or baked oysters? And we got baked oysters. We got barbecue shrimp, and we got a Cajun Wellington. Those were our appetizers, and they were all home runs. But the baked clams or the baked oysters were probably the best part.
Sounds delicious.
Very good.
It was delicious. How were so we got a few things to get to. We played in the Celebrity Shootout yesterday, and I have to say from the fellas, just a combined effort. incredible showing. We don't always have that on camera or in front of folks. So incredible showing when to go through those details. But we really wanted to get Frankie involved because Borelli streams, probably for a man who I feel like goes through a good amount of stress day in and day out, probably your most stressful time of the year there, Frankie.
Yeah, it's a crazy moment in my life. Just it's battle. And we're down 1-0, and when people listen to this, we could be either be 1-1 or down 2-0. It's a long series. I called the Islanders in 7 from the get-go. You got to lose 3 games for that to happen. So I was anticipating losing some games. Game 1 was super exciting. I mean, people say it's boring hockey, but when it's a 2-1 game when it's a 1-goal game for, I think it was 58 minutes of hockey, I mean, that's just every single shot could either tie the game up or, end it. So you're on the edge of your seat the entire time. Borelli's had about 380 people inside it and only fits 200. I mean, it's just, we're finding every little crevice for people to pile into. Tonight, we've got MSG, the broadcasting team from the Islanders, coming to film Borelli's in between each period. So it's going to be chaos. It's so much fun walking into that restaurant, knowing where it was 3 years ago, where me and my dad would walk around. It would be an absolutely empty restaurant because COVID shut it down for 7 months. And then now it's like being able to go full circle and bring it all back and make sure that people are inside and going crazy like they were in the 80s. It's so much fucking fun. But yeah, it's fucking live and die, man. I see everyone like act like you've been there before. And I say this all the time. I said this on Chicklets recently. Like, why would I act like I've been there before? This is what the whole thing's about. If you're a fan of any sport, I would never, ever tell you to just calm down or like act like you've been there before. Wait until the championship. It's all about the ride. It's all about the journey there. Every single goal. Why wouldn't I act like that's the biggest moment of our lives? You don't get many of those. And who knows when you get to do that again. I got my dad on my side. I've got Stu Feiner on my left. Like, I'm going to take advantage of that every single chance I get. And for you to be like a hardo fan or like a gatekeeper or like a watcher of like, oh, I don't think that guy's being genuine enough and he should be able to be reserved after each goal and act like he's basically act like a gentleman at the end of the game and shake. Like, what are you fucking talking about? The only thing that we can do as fans is live and die by the team that we're watching. We can't affect the game. We can't shoot the puck. We can't stop the puck. We can only just cheer and boo. So why wouldn't I do that to the fullest extent every single second? I live and die by that stuff. And that's what drives me. And that's what drives everyone in that restaurant. So like, I'll never change with that. And I don't think any fan should ever apologize for like wanting to do that.
Well, I'd also say it's true for hockey in particular, because say like take a sport like basketball in the NBA. If a team like the Islanders, the equivalent to the Islanders in the NBA, snuck into the playoffs on the last day, in the playoffs, they're getting punted into the sun in the first series. Like, there's no doubt about it. In hockey, from what I've gathered over my years of not watching it but being aware of it, is that any team can win the Stanley Cup. It doesn't matter what seed you are. It's pretty much, if the goalie gets hot and your team plays well enough, you can make a run, a deep run, and maybe even win the thing. So go into each series, each team, each fan with that mindset of a hockey team. Of course, you're going to go fucking crazy every time it's a 1-goal game or every time they score, or you're going to be devastated anytime the other team scores. To not feel that way for hockey in particular, I think you would be insane.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's just live, man. Like, I don't understand why we always have to make excuses or have to like have a reasoning for wanting to have excitement and fun in life. Why does everything have to be cringy or like, I don't understand why they're doing this and like act like you've been there before? Why does everything in the world have to be that? Why can't it just be happy? Why can't it just be exciting? Why can't it? And it is, for us, it is. It's just, there's this world where people like to be like Riggs is the direct, or what is he? The compass, the
moral compass of Pinehurst.
The moral compass of, he's the moral compass of Pinehurst. People are like the moral compass of happiness on hockey Twitter. Like, they don't want you to exceed a level of excitement before a certain game. And to that, I say, you can suck my hairless asshole, because, I'm not very hairy, but you can just suck every little part of me, because I'm never going to stop. I'm never, ever going to stop. And one day I will raise that cup, and it's going to be the greatest moment ever. And if it's this year, it's this year. If it's not, it's next year. If it's not that year, it's the next year. And we're just going to keep going. We're never going to stop.
I think you have nobody to apologize to for no reason. I mean, this is the whole point. We talk about the ride. The ride is better than the destination. You're supposed to be excited for the whole thing. If you weren't that excited and jacked up, there'd be no reason to be an Islander fan. There'd be no reason to really do anything. So I live for it. The Clips go crazy. Dave loves the Clips. I've never met anybody as passionate really about everything that happens. I mean, anything. If it's an interaction with the valet, if it's a shot on a golf course, now you take all that and you package it into really the main thing that you care about in life, which is the New York Islanders. And then you're at your restaurant, your dad's there. He's an emotional guy. You got hundreds of people. It's fucking awesome. It's home run. So that's the reason you're not here, is because you guys are doing those streams. I root for the Islanders at this time. They're friends of the program. Love Clutterbuck texted him last week when the Penguins lost, and that allowed you guys to get back in. It's nuts to think that a week ago when we were recording a show, that show, you basically had said, like, by the time this comes out, there's a good chance the Islanders are just eliminated for the year. Here we are a week later doing another show, and you guys are just in the playoffs with a chance. So, yeah, it's fucking great. I love the streams. I do feel like you, because of your personality and your fire for the Islanders and the all caps tweets and everything, you galvanize people against you more than anyone. It's like Whitney's like against you, and he has no reason to be. It's just like people were just after you nonstop. So I enjoy it.
Here's the truth, Frankie. Here's the truth. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you and the New York Islanders make a run, because they know what kind of monster that would create. And I want to see it. I know Riggs wants to see it. I think pretty much everyone wants to see it, except those ones that you're talking about, where it's like, they know if you make it to the next round and then the next round, that it's just going to be, you're a monster, but it's fucking fun to watch.
Yeah, and you know what? I respect the people that, that want me to lose. I do respect that. I actually enjoy the rivalry, because I watch the Ranger. I haven't missed a Ranger game in 10 years. I don't miss a single. I have notifications on. I know every single stat. I know every single puck that crosses that line for the Rangers. I know about it. So last night was a horrible night for me. The Rangers look really good. I also bet the Rangers to win the Stanley Cup as a hedge your happiness bet. I can win $26,000 if they win the Cup, because I figured that if they do win the Cup, I'll win 30 grand. So, yeah, no, it's I love the rivalry. I think that's one of the best parts of living in New York, is the fact that everything's split, and you're the person that lives in your own house can hate the team that you love, and you just have this fucking rivalry with everybody. So that's how I was born. I was born in the fucking mud when it comes to sports watching. And yeah. No, I'm so excited. We're going back to Borelli's tonight. I get all these DMs too and tweets during these times, and they see me and my dad and me and all my family run around. They're like, dude, the things I would do to go back and be able to watch like a hockey game with my dad, like 100%. The fact that you're able to do this right now is insane. And I never take that for granted for a second. Like, I'm constantly thinking about how lucky am I that I'm able to go to my family's restaurant, watch my favorite team, and my dad's there jumping up and down with me. It's like, I'm soaking in the moment each time. I'm never going to take the foot off the gas when it comes to that. These are the moments right now. When I'm 60, 70 years old, you look back, I was 29. The Islanders made this amazing run 2 years in a row. I'm shoveling beers down my dad's throat. It's all over the internet. People are going crazy. Like, these are the moments right now. I'm living them. These are them. So don't ever fucking tell me to take my foot off the gas with it, because I'm not. I'm not gonna. I'm just going to keep going.
How is Mr. Borelli? As hateable
great
as you can be to, certain portions of the internet, your dad can't be more lovable. How's he doing through this whole thing?
Well, he's got a lot going on right now. We've got this going on. We've got the new Borelli's in Long Beach going on that I am opening up with my cousin. So he wasn't even supposed to be involved with that, but now he's there every single day because he can't not be involved in anything. The guy doesn't stop working. 64 years old. He's delivering pizzas for $10 to people's houses. I'm like, Dad, you're still delivering? The other day I went over to set up the stream, and I'm like, where are you going? He goes, oh, I got a delivery to Fulton Commons. It's like an old people home. I'm like, he was bringing a lobster biscuit and a Coca-Cola, and he was walking it across the street. That's what the guy owns the business. He's doing. It's just, he never stops. He never, ever stops. So he's very excited to see everyone in the restaurant. We've got the new place opening up in like 2 weeks. There's a lot going on in the Borelli's world. Let's just go Islanders. Let's go Islanders. Let's win a game tonight and bring it back to UBS.
vodka seltzer at Truly. That's what's new. That's what's in. That's what's game changing. I'm telling you, you already thought Truly was great. We appreciate everyone coming out to the Barstool Classic, drinking them. I can't tell you how many comments we've got of folks that said, hey, I was never necessarily a Truly guy. I know Truly's part of the event. We got Truly's in the coolers all over the place. I'm trying them. These are delicious. I can't believe this flavor's that flavor. I found 10 different flavors that I like because they got so many. Now take all of that, and now we've got vodka in there. It's real vodka in the Truly vodka seltzers. This is a game changer. They're made with premium vodka. They got a crisp, clean, refreshing taste. And the vodka Truly seltzers, Trent, Ryan, are everything we hoped they would be.
It's true, man. And what you're saying about the Classic is true. Every time, we're there hosting an event, it's obviously presented by Truly. So there's Truly everywhere. Guys are drinking the Truly. Gals are drinking the Truly. And the reviews are, this stuff is amazing. Like, I love this. This is my go-to seltzer. So Truly's doing it right. And again, shout out to them for being the sponsor of the Barstool Classic for so long. It's just a great relationship that we have.
They got fewer calories. All 12-ounce cans have under 110 calories. That means plenty of refreshing flavor, will not weigh you down. Low sugar. Every Truly vodka seltzer contains only 2 grams of sugar. A refreshing go-to that is perfect for the springtime. Welcome to the springtime, by the way. Go find Truly vodka seltzer near you at trulyhardseltzer.com.
I want to hear all about the Celebrity Shootout because I played in that thing last year. It's very nerve-wracking. You have a lot of people watching you. You've got that lunatic on the microphone who's just fucking hyping you guys up like crazy. And then every shot is just so amplified.
Yeah. It was my first experience. You guys played last year. Frank, you had an all-time moment on the 9th hole with Chris Berman last year where he dapped you up after you hit a great shot. And, man, we were just right back in it as soon as we arrived. Yeah, for whatever reason, this podcast, we seem to find ourselves in incredibly nerve-wracking first tee shot moments many more times a year than we would like to, which one would be many more times than we would like to. But for guys that are not good at golf, that don't have like nice, fundamentally sound golf swings and such, for guys that are put in those situations, people that have great swings that are fundamentally sound melt down in those situations frequently. We see crazy bad shots. We saw Mito Pereira hit one of the craziest looking tee shots I've ever seen in my life to make a double and blow a major championship. He's a phenomenal golfer. We stink at golf, and now we're in situations where for us, we're just as nervous. Now, obviously, we're not trying to win a major championship, but for all intents and purposes, we're shaking. We got no control of our limbs. And here we were just in it yesterday, walk up to the driving range. Chris Berman gave us an amazing, good to see you guys, and then goes, where's that weapon? Where's your lefty? About
that was
Frankie.
crazy.
Because I'll be
the
honest.
guy plays like a million different pro-ams,
Right.
And how the fuck does he remember the Zurich Classic last
crazy.
year when the lefty hit a good shot?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Now, when we were walking up, I think I was saying to Brendan, Chris Berman's a legend. He plays in a ton of these programs. I will be stunned if he remembers us at all. And then as soon as we got there, we said hi to Ben Mintz, King of the South. He's down here, of course. Great to see him.
It's wrecking hell down there.
And then Chris Berman was on the range, and he turned around. And he's like, "Where's the lefty?" And my jaw hit the floor. I was like, "This guy not only remembers us, but remembers the guy who's not even here." Incredible.
That was crazy. And then he gave you a little stimp meter on your head. That's one of the funniest pictures of all time. Chris Berman just rubbing Trent's buzz cut and saying, "This is a 12 on the stimp meter." It's
Dude,
unbelievable.
he is, and I'm sure you could go back and listen to Frankie and I talk about this shootout last year and all about Berman, but the guy's a legend. He's the legend of legend. We were talking about it on the car ride home yesterday. The guy on the mic called him the godfather of ESPN, and that is fully true. He is the guy, and he's a legendary broadcaster. He's been around forever. He's still doing it on Sundays, I'm pretty sure. That guy, the fact that we get to be around him at all is something. If you had told 8-year-old Trent, who's homesick from school watching The Price is Right and Sports Center reruns all day, and Chris Berman's all over my TV, sick. I just wouldn't believe it.
Homesick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sick.
I mean, if
it's
you
crazy.
If you give Barstool any credit for what they did for culture or sports, showing a different putting it in a different lane and putting a different voice on it. He did that for mainstream sports when it comes to Sports Center, doing the whoop and the screaming and being so excited as opposed to a reserved commentator talking about highlights. And it was very boring. And it was like, this is what happened last night in sports. All of a sudden you have Berman going crazy every time there's a juke and anything that was exciting, he was going to let you know that he was fucking excited about it because he loves football and he just breathes and just lives football. He's huge. He's a unit, and he consumes every inch of the space that he's in because he's with his voice and his personality. And when you're around him at something like this, you can't help but just be gravitated to him. You want to see everything he's saying. You want to know everything he's doing. He's an amazing human.
He's very engaging. Like the 12 meter, that was just a thing that we caught. He was all day chirping, talking. At one point, we were talking about the weather in the Northeast, Tim and I. I don't think we caught this on camera. I'm pretty sure we didn't, but we were talking about how it's been a weird winter. And then last week in Connecticut, he was saying it was 91. And he goes, you know who can predict these better than the weathermen with their technology is the guys with the Farmer's Almanac. These guys months before the weather's going to hit, years before, they predict what's going to happen. And more times than not, they're right. And I was just sitting there thinking, I'm talking about the Farmer's Almanac with Chris Berman right now. Life can't get much better than this.
No, it can't.
He is incredible. That was my first experience with him. I was blown away. He is an icon. Like you just said, he deserves all the credit in the world. He changed the game. He's the godfather of ESPN and ushering in like the Stuart Scotts and the SVPs and the Butchagra. Like he brought it at ESPN and he still brings it today. He's 68 years old, hits his first tee shot down the middle. He had back surgery a year and a half ago. He throws his hat. He's rubbing Trent's head. He couldn't have been nicer. He's making little comments after everybody's shot. And after everybody hits a good shot, he's fist bumping them. He's just a showman. And he blew me away at how great he was, because you're nervous when you meet these people. You're nervous that they're going to be larger than life, right? That they're going to be bigger than you. They're on a pedestal. And he was just as cool as he could be. He was, first time I met him was on the range, and he was, hey, you weren't here last year, right? And we were chatting. Tell me about what you guys do. And I'm telling him about what we do. And he's genuinely asking questions. He wants to know about what, oh, you guys just do the golf. Interesting. So with the Pardon My Take guys that I've done stuff with, tell me about them. I go, well, they kind of handle the bigger sports. They're football, basketball, whatever sports in. They cover that. And then we are very exclusively pretty much do what they do, but we do it for golf. And we kind of are in this silo of golf. He's like, oh, that makes so much more sense now. So you guys go around all the time. And he's just so into it. I'm like, you're fucking Chris Berman. There's a million people around here. Why are you talking to me right now? You should be talking, you shouldn't be talking to me. You're better than talking to me. So he was incredible. Stepping up on that first tee. Things happened pretty quickly. I feel like we were on the tee taking a picture. The next thing you know, it's like Trent. They're like Trent Ryan from Barstool. And there's like 100 people around. There's kids. The whole thing's for charity. Everybody's excited to be out there. There's celebrities. There's cameras and phones everywhere. And our guy, Trent Ryan's just on the tee, about to hit a tee shot. We're both shaking. We're both doing the thing. We're like, dude, I'd pay you $500 to just go hit the shot for me. And I'll just go home. I don't want to be here. And Trent's golf game right now, I had heard whispers about early season up in New York. I'd heard whispers that Trent was kind of bringing it, that he's walking 9 holes, 18 holes out there. He's playing by himself. He's immersing himself in the world of golf. He came on this show and was like, I think carts are for the birds now. If you're not walking, you don't really understand golf. Like, what the fuck is going on? Steps up, first hole, hits a great drive down the right side. That hits probably the best, I would say the single best golf, like full golf swing shot I've ever seen Trent Ryan hit on the first hole in a fucking celebrity shootout with people everywhere.
It's the
you
best
hit one to like 4 feet. You hit a 7-iron to like 4 feet.
Yeah, it's
probably
the best shot I've ever hit. Now, I was talking to Riggs about it. I hit a shot during the Max Homa Scramble. Not the putts or anything, but there was one shot. It was like 115 where I put it within an inch and almost went in the hole. That was up until yesterday. That was probably the best shot I've ever hit. That 7-iron, it just came off great. I hit it to like 5 or 6 feet. Missed the putt, for those wondering. I did miss the putt, but like, yeah, dude, my game's in a really good spot. And Frankie and I have been playing a little bit, and I've been playing a lot by myself, and it's really just coming around. And I'm sure people will say, yeah, no shit, dude. Like, you play more, you start practicing a little bit more. Of course, it's going to come around. That turns out to be true. We played, so the format for the shootout, You play 4 holes. You get teamed up with somebody. I was teamed up with Will Lutz from the New Orleans Saints, place kicker. Guy is awesome. He was fucking super cool. And you play the first hole is best ball, second hole is alternate shot, third hole is best ball, fourth hole is alternate shot again. And when I played my own ball, it was 2 holes. I had birdie licks on both holes, and they were both easy pars. So it's just, things are just happening, and I'm playing really well. I'm glad that I was able to hit that 7-iron like on camera so people can see that my game is coming around. And it's funny, Riggs, we were talking afterwards, and Riggs is like, take whatever you're thinking about today during these rounds, write it down, and be thinking about that going forward, because whatever you're doing right now, it's working. And I said, I've been doing that. I've been playing well, and I've been thinking about the things that I've been thinking about, and what I've been thinking about. All I think about when I'm over the ball is Fred Couples. That's all I think about. I think about the tempo of his swing, how slow it is, how smooth it is, how great it is. And when I'm over the ball, that's all I'm thinking about. And it slows down my swing to the point where things just start to work. Because in the past, I've just been really fast. The tempo has been way off. If you watch my old swings, it's like boom. And it's horrific. It doesn't give me any time for my swing to do anything that it's supposed to do. But when I think about that legend, Fred Couples, it slows me down just enough. And I know my swing doesn't look like that. I know the tempo is not the same, but in my brain, it feels a little bit more like that. And that's how I'm able to hit a shot like that 7-iron.
It's all mental. Prior to this, and I've obviously gotten many lessons now when it comes to Dr. Brett McCabe and Trevor Immelman and Scott Fawcett, but leading into, my golfing life, when I was like 16 years old or 15 years old, I got a lesson at a PGA Superstore or like a Golf Galaxy. And the guy was like, I took a swing, and he was like, all right, now in your head, try and swing 50% speed. Just like try and legitimately do half that. And I did that. And then he showed me a video of it, and it looked like I was going 120 miles an hour. And I was like, there's no fucking way. And ever since then, I really it like unlocked something where then I was able to start playing a little bit better golf. And then it became more fun because now you're just thinking slower. I've always had an issue with that. So I completely see where you're coming from. With drumming, I feel like if I go really slow, I'm like, there's no way that's how the song's supposed to go. And then you hear it and you're like, oh shit, that was actually fast. So I've had a problem with tempo my whole life. I completely get that. Having a mental thing to think about like that's going to be huge for you. Trent's been playing fantastic golf. We are going to start breaking 90 again. We took a little bit of a hiatus because you can't keep just pumping out episodes where we both thought it wasn't going to happen each time we stepped up to the tee, and that's no place to be when you're filming a video that a lot of people like to watch. So I think we're in a great spot where the next episode, once we film it, everyone's going to think that he has a chance to do it. And we know that he has a chance to do it. We played at Rockville recently on our own, and Trent shot like a 94 with 2 blow-up holes. So it's like he's right there. Right there.
I shot a 94 at Rockville. I went 51-43 for those at home.
51-43. So that's what I'm talking about, dude. And he got fucked on that 4th hole again.
5th hole.
Or what is it? 5th hole. On the 5th hole again at Rockville, the water hole. It's 120-yard fucking par 3. The guy made like a 6 again. So at the end of the day, he is going to break 90. It's just bound to happen very, very soon, I think, because he's just playing great golf. So once that series comes back, get hyped because Trent Daddy is going to do it. But he hasn't done it yet. I feel like people hear you're playing a lot of golf, and they're probably like, oh, he's probably done it already. You haven't done it yet. You've been playing 9 holes. When we played 18, you shot 94. You're right there. So I can't wait to get back up and just fucking do it, because you're going to do it. You're just going to do it.
No, I'm playing well enough that I can definitely do it. So I'm chomping at the bit to film one of these to see, because it is different. Like when you, we play on camera all the time, so people maybe not believe me, but when I play by myself, or like when Frankie and I go play Rockville, there's a little bit less pressure. But then when you go out there and it's like, here's the time where you got to try to break 90, and there's going to be a lot of people watching, which I really appreciate, but there is that extra pressure as opposed to when you're just kind of playing 9 holes or you're playing 18 with no cameras. So I'm ready to see how the game feels during an actual episode of Breaking 90. Like, I'm ready to try. So we're going to do that very soon.
I think you're going to do it.
I also, by the way, I got Zach Johnson's number yesterday.
I saw that. That's wild.
It was very funny moment.
Now, are you going to utilize that? Are you going to utilize that?
I'm probably not going to use it. I mean, the only time I would use it, because I was thinking about it, and the reason it came about was we were talking to Dr. Brett McCabe out at the Zurich Classic yesterday, kind of hanging around by the putting green. We were talking about restaurant recommendations, which Dr. Brett McCabe is the king in New Orleans. And Zach Johnson came up to me, shook my hand, and was like, I saw you getting coffee this morning, but I didn't have your number. He like saw the backside of me. He said it was my skinny rear end walking away from him. And he's like, I didn't have your number to text you and be like, oh, I'm right behind you. Like, let's whatever. And then the conversation kind of drifted away from that. And I couldn't get it out of my head that he didn't have my number. So the whole time while Dr. Brett McCabe is chirping him about LSU and Iowa, the women's championship, I'm just trying to keep Zach around long enough to get his number. And he's starting to walk away, and Brett McCabe is still giving him shit about the championship game. And to the point where I was finally like, give me your number. Like, let's just exchange our numbers right now. So we did it. He texted me. He just texted me Zach, which was great. And now I have his number, and I don't know how much I'm going to utilize it. I'm certainly not going to abuse it. Maybe if a big Iowa sports moment happens, I'll send him a text like, holy shit, you see this going on? But I'm not going to text him today like, hey man, how's your day going? That's not
Did
how
you
I'm
write back Trent?
No.
So he doesn't. So did he save it? Did you take his number? Did he save your name in his phone?
He saved me in mine.
Okay. So next time you text him, he'll know it says Trent. He'll know it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're in a good spot. I think you're in a great spot.
You're not going to text him like, hey, Zach, here are my picks for the captain's picks for this year's Ryder Cup team. Make sure you take these into account.
I don't think so. It's crazy. He is the Ryder Cup captain. Fuck.
I know. I've never seen Trent that bold. Trent, like, because Zach did make that little comment very clearly of like, I saw you, but I didn't have your number. So I couldn't hit you, whatever. And then Zach kind of made a little quip and then like was walking away, and Trent like stepped out of the conversation to be like, let me get that number to Zach Johnson. Like, let me get that number. And I've never seen you do anything like that.
It's something that's just a big moment. I would have never asked him for his number without him prompting saying, I don't have your number. Like if that conversation had started and he was like, oh, great to see you guys. Thanks for coming to Zurich Classic. It's great to see you, whatever. And then walked away. I would have never been like, hey, can I have your number? But he specifically said, I don't have your number. And I was like, well, this is one of the few opportunities I'm going to get to get this guy's number. So I pounced on it. You know, you got to take advantage of the opportunities when they're presented to you.
That's also your guy, Zach Johnson, Iowa. Everything about that, you have to get that done. You absolutely have to get that done.
That's like a thing where it's like my family, they'll see the clip and they'll see the picture and they'll be like, this fucking guy's got Zach Johnson's number. And that's cool for us as a family.
Yep.
This fucking guy's got Zach Johnson's phone number. Shout out to my guy, Pete Werner, linebacker for the New Orleans Saints, Ohio State guy. We won the celebrity shootout. Came down to a putt off at the end. He made a huge 4-hole thing, like Trent said. He made a huge par putt on the first hole. He got up and down. I made a bogey. And then after that, we just heated up. It made a birdie on the third hole. And then on the last hole, everybody missed the green, which was shocking. It was like 150 downwind. Everybody missed the green. There were 2 or 3 shots in the water. Mine barely didn't go in the water. We all made fours. Went down to a lag putt. I got to go last. We weren't able to watch the first couple. We had to turn our backs, which is very stressful. We've made people do that at the Barstool Classic Truly putting contest before. I've never had to do it myself. It's really, really, really difficult to not just watch other people putt, but we didn't. And then I got to go last, hit a good putt. I wish it would have gone in, would have made that clip off the charts, but we ended up winning $10,000 each for charity of our choice. So I guess we got to sync up with the team and figure out where we're going to send that money. I think Trent and everybody else got $5,000 to charity. So between the two of us, we've got $15,000 for charity that we got to give away. So we were kind of thinking first tee in New York. Could we go up there? Because that's what you guys did last year. Write them a nice check, help out the youth that are getting involved in the game of golf. And congratulations to us bringing home a little bit of money for charity, which I didn't even know was at play at the beginning of the day, that we had that much money.
I remember
for charity.
Last year there was whispers about 10,000, and I remember Trent and I looked at each other and we're like, "Are we going to win $10,000?" if we just make a 3 here on this last hole? Because I didn't know it was for charity at first. So if anyone had seen that clip of me last year, I was going for the cash. I was flag hunting, thinking that I was getting green at the end of this thing. But yeah, we ended up giving it to the First Tee program. There's a lot of First Tee programs that we can find to give that out. The Met obviously is a huge one here in New York, but there's some that they absolutely grind over month to month expenses. So I think the First Tee program is a great one if you find the right branch.
I want to give a shout out to my caddy from yesterday. His name's Josh, senior in high school, state champ, and he's going to Southern Alabama on a scholarship. Kid is great. It's funny when you talk to somebody like that, and we were talking to him a little bit at the end, Riggs, where we were explaining like, yeah, he's state champ. He's got a scholarship to go to Southern Alabama. It's like, dude, this is the best part of your life. Like, you got to understand, this is going into college and you're young and you're clearly a stud. Dude, he shot a 63 at his home course. Like, dude, kid is a stud. And it's like, dude, just enjoy this because you're going to have a blast. So if he ends up hearing this, I know he watches all of our videos. He's a big fan of us. Dude, good luck. Enjoy it and just make the most of it. This is the best time of your life.
How much of a, it's not an issue, but he's going to have to come across some decision making when it comes to like, you're a state champion, you're playing at Southern Alabama. You've got a chance to really make a career out of golf. He's like got a leg up on most people when it comes to his path towards professional golf right now. He's going to get a scholarship to play college golf. Like, he's like, do you fully commit to doing that? Like, he has a decision to make right now. Do you fully commit your next 4 or 5 years to doing that? Or do you just like do it leisurely, have fun, get experiences, like be happy that you got a full ride scholarship? Like, there's a huge difference between like giving it your all and like basically giving up on all the experience and then not. I feel like some of these really high tier athletes coming out of high school have like a crazy decision to make.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that. I mean, I wasn't that, so I don't know what that feels like.
I think it could be a mix, like it depends on the person, but it's like, we know plenty of guys on tour that it's not like every single second of their life is like eating perfectly, never having a sip of alcohol, never having any fun. And if they didn't do it that way, they like wouldn't be on tour. So it's not like I think in college you have to go all in one way or the other, but I do agree with you. There's a big difference between being like a pretty average college degenerate who just like skates by and has an absolute rager of a time and being like a top tier athlete. If we're going to call, the age old debate about athletes and sports, it's definitely a decision, but I don't know that it's like I'm going to go one way or the other. You know what I mean? I don't think that this like 17-year-old is making that call. That's hard for any, like, we can't even make decisions and we're, twice that age.
But I think the 17-year-olds that make that call are the ones that end up with like the special careers. You know what I mean? You're like, that kid had something that no one else did. He had a commitment at an early age that nobody else did. He saw this path that nobody else did. I feel like there's always that 1 or 2 kids that like, they decide that going in. You're like, oh yeah, like I wasn't going to do that. Like I wasn't going to fucking practice.
Joel
that
Damon wasn't a shit show in college at time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Sure.
Like,
there's always outliers. Oh,
like I was thinking about Kiz. Like, you think Kiz didn't have a good time at Georgia? Like I would
Kiz
imagine.
definitely was a psycho golfer growing up. No, like you can't, like you don't think he was like the most committed to his craft.
I think it can be both. I think you can definitely have both.
It can.
I think you can just have both, right? Like we know plenty of NHL players that it's like they're elite level athletes that are very committed, but they also can send it and like get after it. And I think that that's probably similar at that level. And some people can't do both, right?
But hockey always stuns me though. Hockey always stuns me. Like guys, like when they're 14, like leave their family to go live with like a random family, like somewhere else in another state, just because like they're trying to get to the NHL one day. It's like you basically give up living with your friends, your family, just to hope for this dream. And then they end up getting it done. Like hockey to me is like the biggest commitment at the earliest age. Hockey always blows my mind. I'm like, what do you mean you lived with some random family from Canada? They moved up to Canada or they came down to the States and they're just living with like a foster family. I'm like, you're homeless essentially just because one day you want to hope to be the one out of 1 billion kids to fucking make the NHL. That's insane.
Yeah, but I guess to that point, then when they actually get to college in hockey, it's actually you almost rejoin the group normal people. You know what I mean? Like everyone's now, instead of doing this crazy thing, it's like, well, the football players at school and the tennis player and everybody at school is kind of living in college together, and you could kind of have a time and do both. But that's true. It's like, I guess it's kind of your definition of like, what is the commitment and what is like the sacrifice. It's different. I tell people all the time, like, I played in college. I played hockey with Alex Kaloran, who's now won 2 Stanley Cups with the Tampa Bay Lightning and makes millions and millions of dollars a year. He's had a hell of an NHL career, and like, they're probably going to steamroll the Leafs again, and the Leafs aren't going to get out of the first round again. But I remember in college, like, he was on a different level of that commitment. So he would be personifying exactly what you're saying. If, like, you know, we'd go to the dining hall and just demolish whatever food was there, cookies, and like, you know, we'd try to eat a little healthy at times. Sure. He legit would like cook his own chicken at his own place with no bread, with no cheese, with no, just like cooking pure chicken breasts and eating clean, and like never saw him get shit faced. He would have a beer or two, but like always kept it pretty tight. And like, he's in the NHL and so that commitment over 4 years in college, clearly day in and day out, made a huge difference versus some of the other people in our level. So it definitely can matter, but I don't know that it's always.
No, I think there could definitely be both. I don't want to say that there's not both. I would say the majority there is both. Every single college kid that is an athlete probably just has the greatest time of all time. I'm just saying that I wonder how many kids fall into that category. And golf, for some reason, like, it makes me think that a lot of kids do fall into this, where like they're gonna do that Alex Kaloran thing, and it's not even gonna pan out because golf is so fucking hard, and you actually have to be so committed to being on the range and the putting green and in the bays, and you're constantly working at this game, and you really can't even get that much better once you get to a certain point where it's like you drive yourself insane trying to achieve something that's almost not achievable. It's got to be crazy to like almost give that up and be like, I'm just going to have a really good time, try my best to play. And if it works, I can end up being Joel Damon and Kevin Kisner, and I can be on the tour. I'm not saying you have to be a psycho, but how many kids give up their college experience and it doesn't work? Like, that to me is like a sad existence kind of.
It's just tough because you can't know, right? You
never
can't live 2 lives. You can't be like, I am going to cook my own chicken breasts and eat broccoli and practice every morning, and then you don't know if it's going to work. It's a tough decision. I don't know. And it very much varies person to person. There's so many different types, and we've named a couple of them. And then you got a guy like John Daly who will he'll just drink until an hour before his tea time or whatever and shoot a 65. So it's very person dependent, but it's a decision. I guess it is a decision you have to make. But again, we're looking at this. I'm 34. We're all in our 30s now, almost. Frankie's 29. But like, you can say this to a kid who's 17, and he's like, "What are these old guys talking about? Like, I'm just gonna."
I don't even know if we've even said like what we think he should do. And I mean, we're talking about one specific kid, which is so weird for him to listen to. But like, you don't even. There is no right or wrong decision. I'm just thinking like the Earl Woodses. We talk about what Earl Woods did to Tiger Woods, right, when he was growing up. How many parents do that to kids where it just didn't work? Is it like 1,000 out of 1,001? Like, you know what I mean? Are there 1,000 kids that were just fucking brutally like worked to the bone, and then they just ended up being fucking accountants? And it's just like, why the fuck did we do that? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
why didn't we just go eat ice cream?
Right. They're like, hey, remember that first 15 years? We had a weird relationship where you just
Real
wanted
weird.
me to become the greatest, and it didn't work. That's what makes Tiger so interesting, is that it worked. But there are definitely cases where it has not worked, and that's the majority. That's the 99.99999%. That's
well. I hope
sure.
What's his name?
Josh.
John. What was it? I hope Josh has a ton of beers and a ton of birdies. I hope that there's a perfect.
No. Just do what you want. Just live the life that you want.
I hope there's a great mix of beers and birdies, and that this guy ends up on tour one day while also, having to cut back on drinking because he drank so much and had so much fun. That's my wish for him.
I think that's a weird wish. I think we're talking.
I hope that he has everything. I hope he gets everything. I hope he gets the college experience and he fucking succeeds. I hope that he fucking makes it. I hope this kid makes it. He wants to make it. He's a state champion golfer. The kid wants to make it. He shot 63 at his home golf course. He wants to be the best golfer in the world. He thinks that he can do it. It's in his fucking mind. It's in his blood. He can do it. But I also want him to have fun. I want him to have a fun time. They're just kids out there. Like Big Cat says with college basketball. They're just kids.
Just kids. Best of luck to Josh. That's a
weird segment for Josh. Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Evan, who was my caddy, who got the win. So he was awesome. He was lovely.
Evan.
He's a caddies around town. He's a member, I believe, out at TPC. So he knew the course. and he's a fantastic kid. He was all jacked up for our win. I could tell that. So yeah, it was a great experience. I hope everyone has fun in college and everyone makes it to PGA Tour. That's kind of my stance on the whole thing. The exclusive ticketing partner, that's not a word. The exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, talking about Game Time. I saw our very own Dan Rappaport was using Game Time yesterday. Went to a Mets game. He said he was trying to find out this conundrum going on with Frank the Tank, who works with us at BarstoolSports.com, claiming that this is like the worst Mets team and organization in history, and then they're, I think, 11-6. So Dan Rappaport utilized Game Time, and it seemed to have been quite the success.
Yeah, I guess he was boots on the ground trying to figure out. It is interesting. If you follow the Mets via Frank the Tank, you think they haven't won a game in 10 years, but then you look at their record and yeah, I think they're 11-6 or something like that. So, but be like Dan, go to a Mets game, start going to baseball games. Dude, baseball is back. There's nothing more fun than going to a baseball game. You're basically going to a bar, you're hanging out with, 20,000 other people, a beautiful day, slow game. You watch a baseball game, you take it in, use Game Time. If you haven't gone to a baseball game yet, use Game Time and go. You're going to have a good time.
They got the best, easiest last minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, shows, whatever it might be. They've got it. There's Bruce Springsteen, Drake. There's comedy shows you can go to. The Mets, baseball's in. Baseball, going to the ballpark, one of the more American, fun, leisurely activities you can do. Purchase process takes just 2 taps, takes 10 seconds. Once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. There's no printer needed. App also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text so you can get into the game seamlessly. So skip the hassle, enjoy the moment. Download Game Time app, go to the website, enter your email and redeem code Fore for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, go download the Game Time app or go to the website. Use that redeem code Fore. Zurich Classic this week. Team situation going on. Not the strongest field in the history of golf. Crazy town that the top team, Xander and Cantlay, are plus 300 on the Barstool Sportsbook to win. That's got to be the highest odds of the entire year by far. Somebody's 3-1. That's almost Tiger territory in his prime. 3-1 to win. I think Homa and Colin Morikawa are 6.5 to 1 plus 650. I think I saw to win. And then it kind of, after the top 4 or 5 teams, it drops off pretty significantly. Barstool Sportsbook's the official gaming partner of the Zurich Classic this year, which is incredible. If you go to the event, off the right side of the 9th hole, there's a really cool tent set up with a full swing simulator, TVs, a bunch of phenomenal staff from Penn and the Barstool Sportsbook who are going to get you all set up. So you go there, you sign up. They got a bar nearby. They got food, beverage. They got a really cool scene going on there, and it's a fantastic viewing spot looking over that cool pond, the 9th hole at TBC, Louisiana. So Barstool Sportsbook's bringing it, absolutely bringing it this week for the Zurich Classic. So it was really cool to see our faces up there. They got big graphic with us and Hannah Cook, just massive versions of our body that look really cool. I think we look about as good as we could possibly look. So I did a great job with that. But
I do want to say though, if you go to the Zurich Classic and you go to the Barstool Sportsbook tent that is off the right side of the 9th green at TPC Louisiana, and you see our faces, and under our faces you see our Instagram handles, do not try to find my Instagram handle with that, because they got it wrong. They got mine wrong and they got Danny Rapp's wrong. So if you're going to follow us on Instagram from these very specific graphics in a very specific location, you're not going to be able to find me. I just want to make that clear.
What they write?
They just put, it's Barstool Trent with 2 T's. 2 T's at the end.
Barstool Trentita.
They put 2 trees.
And then Dan Rapp was, I think he's on Instagram, he's D-Rap. And then on this one, they added a T at the end. So they were just going a little crazy with the T's. So again, I had said that I think combined throughout the weekend, the number of Instagram followers that we're all going to accumulate from that is 0. But if you happen to want to follow me on Instagram from that specific graphic, that's not the right one. And
Dude, Instagram's insane to grow followers right now. Have you ever realized like how many like no one's really moving up or down? You actually go like months without getting anything.
It's hard
at all.
It's not. It's
Like,
it's infuriating, to be honest with you.
You'll like the last 30 days, it's like I gained 7,000 and lost 6,800. It's like, what's actually happening? Like, what are you talking about? I just think it's the algorithm. It just pushes you into people and they just they follow and they unfollow. And like, I don't even do that. I don't know who's doing that. When you follow someone, I don't like go back and unfollow a thing. I just like, I make sure that when I follow, it's a real follow. I feel like when we're pushing out all these Instagram stories, we go into these weird like sections and then they just like hit a quick follow and then right after immediate unfollow. I don't get it. It's very strange. Instagram's impossible to grow.
Right. And it's funny because there's been times I feel like when Instagram was easy to grow and then
super easy.
And like Twitter was always one that was really hard. And now I feel like honestly, Twitter, since Mr. Musk took over, I feel like the followers have gone way up. And I don't it's very strange. And it's so weird how the powers that be at a place like Instagram, they can shift one or two things and it completely just makes it different than it was a week ago. I don't know how they make those decisions, but overall I am with you. It's hard to gain followers on Instagram right now.
Okay. The ROC City Scramble. So today, as this podcast has come out, the sign up situation will be, I believe, are we doing noon? We're doing noon.
Yeah, I said noon last show.
Okay, it says registration starts Thursday, April 20th, 420. Nice. At 12 p.m. Eastern time. You can register in teams of 2. You got to be 21 plus. It's a 1 p.m. shotgun start, which is Tuesday, May 16th of PGA Championship week. Irondequoit?
Alex Bush, jump in here, pal.
Irondequoit.
Decoit. So we say the T.
Which is bananas. Frankie, you were right. There's no way this is not supposed to be Irondequoit, and they say Irondequoit, which is
Irondequoit. It should be
crazy.
It should be Irondequoit.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
Irondequoit.
I'm sure it's Irondequoit.
But Alex Bush says Irondequoit.
Frankie, it's that with the T.
Okay. So, anyways, you could sign up for that. It's a 2-man scramble Thursday.
What website are they going to? Is it like Barstool Events?
It's a good thing.
Events.barstoolsports.com.
Do we have that, Bush?
Because I got a bunch of tweets about that. I got a bunch of pings.
Yeah, we'll put that on social, but I don't know the link right now.
Well, we should just find out, and then we can just say it right now. You know what I mean?
Let's see. Events.barstool. I think it's events.barstoolsports.com. I think that's what it is. I think it's events. Nope, that's not a real website. So I don't know.
These guys. Can
you figure that out, Bush, so that we can
if this one sells out, then we just know that we don't even have to talk about it anymore. I think you just type in Barstool Events, and I think it'll be up there because right now I see Chicks in the Office, the Humble Fans Tour, and I'm sure that ours will be up there next.
Let's see. Should we do a test and see if we don't even know or put out a link to this event?
That's what I mean.
Can it sell out faster than the Golf Digest Open? Let's see if we can do that. That might be. We just don't even know. I don't even know how you find
That'll
it.
Be like
we'll just see how it does.
That'll be like when fucking Good put out a video with no title and no like thumbnail, and it got like 1 million views. Everyone's just like, none of it mattered. Nothing really matters. Like, nothing actually.
Right. The thing around YouTube is like, all right, let's make these like titles interesting and the thumbnail. We're all gonna look back. Bro, we're all going to look back on this era of thumbnails, and if you go to Good, Bob Does, Foreplay, whoever it is, we all had these fucking hyper green thumbnails with like we're standing in weird spots.
The wackiest hole in golf.
It's like everyone's trying to play by the rules, and Good was just like, hey, by the way, if you just have 1.5 million subscribers, none of this shit matters. And they were right.
They just uploaded a video by accident, or if it was by design. And if it was by design, incredible to just be like, my hopes and dreams for Good is that they were arguing with someone behind the scenes where like a data analytics person. And they're like, you guys got to do this. And whoever was in charge was just like, you know what we're going to do? we're going to fucking put up a video that has a black screen on the front and it has no title and it's going to do 1 million views and you're going to literally pack your bags and get the fuck out of here is what's going to happen. We're going to sit here and we're going to watch the live views run up to 1 billion and you're going to, every 10,000 views per minute, you're going to pack a new piece of clothing and then you're going to leave.
There's an old Drake lyric where he says, buzz so big I could probably sell a blank disc, and that's what good does.
100%.
Good.
That's what they showed.
They showed it.
Look at this.
They're right, man.
This is at Vid Summit today. This is from September last year. Mr. Beast told Colin and Samir that his 6-person thumbnail team makes around 20 different versions per video. They plan what the thumbnail will be before they even film the video. He also sends versions to close friends to measure which one to use. Mr. Beast said his team will swap out the thumbnail if the video has a low CTR, click-through rate. They usually wait about a week. He said when it comes to video performance, logic is better than emotion, adding it just doesn't feel good when a video spends months and a bunch of money on platform and it doesn't go well. So they take thumbnails incredibly seriously.
And he's doing it right.
And his videos do well.
But
everyone's catering to these like children on YouTube. That's what it is. It's bright colors, it's wacky titles, it's wacky thumbnail names, and it's just like that's just what you got to do. You're just catering to the person that's just scrubbing through fucking YouTube, and like it's just got to visually catch their eye, like you're in a candy store. Like, whoa, what's that color? Like, wow, I just noticed that. There's got to be some sort of because even Garrett on our team like knows that whole world. He like studies these like Reddit threads of like what makes a good thumbnail. And yeah, he just says like the red and the green, it just fucking pops. There's science behind it. It's like department stores during Christmas. They like put certain things in front of you and you're like, oh, that's a great sale. You're like looking at it. You like don't even realize what's happening.
Subscribers sell, they mean more than anything. So go to Foreplay Pod on YouTube and just subscribe, because that's going to get it at the end of the day. Thumbnails, titles, be damned.
Just like everyone that listened just did it. Like I always think about that, but you're just never going to get it. But like if everyone that listened to this podcast just went to YouTube, made an account, and just hit subscribe on Foreplay, we would see like 500,000 subscribers in one day. Isn't that insane? But like everyone, because we have that like so many people who listen to every single episode. If we had all you just go there right now and just hit subscribe, we would see an absurd number just jump. And then everyone's lives would just get better. It's just like
I'll tell you
if everyone just fucking did it.
I'll tell you this. I don't know if everybody's going to do it. But I know, Tim, I know that you're listening, and I'm going to need you to do it.
Are we calling out names right now?
Well, I don't know if we are or not, but I know that my guy, Tim, the Tims that are listening, I just know that they got to subscribe today. Whether or not that's, again, not everybody's going to do it, but I know, Tim, I know you're going to do it today. I know that.
Brian, you're sitting there listening to this thing. You're fucking plugging away on that keyboard. You got to answer to that piece of shit boss that's up your ass all week. You're listening to this podcast. You hate when I talk about the Islanders. You just want to talk about golf. You want to escape from your fucking life. And you're like, why the fuck is this guy talking about hockey and screaming and cutting people off? And he's fucking manic. Can he just fucking shut the fuck up? I'll shut up if you hit subscribe on YouTube. How about that, Brian? One time, make the right decision in your fucking life where you're going to click 3 fucking buttons and you're just going to be done with it. That's great.
500,000 subscribers and Frankie won't talk about hockey for a year.
If we gain 500,000 more.
No, I'm saying if we hit 500,000.
If we hit 500,000 subscribers by the end of this year, I will not talk about hockey next year. Not once. I won't bring it up.
I think we're at like 300.
We'll edit it out of the podcast every single time I bring it up by accident.
318,000 subscribers right now. So if we gain 180,000 subscribers before January 1st of 2024.
Honestly, I think we could do that.
Dude, I don't know, man. That's a lot. Woo! That's a lot. By the end of this year, we'd have to get 180,000.
That's so many. But it's got, like people say, like Frankie's saying, like he talks a lot about hockey. I know people are sometimes like, this is a golf podcast, not a hockey podcast. If you don't want him to talk about hockey anymore for a full year before January 1st of 2024, let's get up to 500,000 subscribers and the hockey talk is gone.
And if we hit 500,000 by the end of the year, I will have a 500. I'll do a $500,000 party at Borelli's for every subscriber. It's all you can eat and drink at Borelli's. It will be on the house. You come and you can just eat and drink as much as you possibly want. And all you have to do to get into the door is show that you're subscribed. If we hit 500,000, that will be. I will do it. We'll be there all day from 12 at in noon till 12 at night. Unlimited drinks and food. We're doing a $500,000 party.
I love the 500,000 subscribers to shut Frankie Borelli up about hockey. That's a great one.
I agree.
All right, love it. I called out James. The name I called out was James. I just looked up the top 10 most popular names for births in America in the last 100 years. James is number 1 for men. So if your name's James, please go subscribe. Today's show is brought to you by the Barstool Sportsbook, the one and only sportsbook of Barstool Sports. The Barstool Sportsbook is made for you, the loyal fans and listeners, and is the only place to find exclusive picks and parlays from us. That includes back foreplay, which right now we've got Sahith Thagala, Justin Suh, or Joel Damon and Denny McCarthy, either one of those teams to win the 2023 Zurich Classic. That's boosted from plus 1,300 to plus 1,500 if you're listening to this show in time. So before play gets going Thursday morning, get in on that. We're going to put this out on social as well so people can see. But we do For the Cut. That was red hot at the beginning of the year. We do a lot of exclusives. You can bet with Pardon My Take. I believe the BEC, is that back now that baseball's back with our fellas that do the I think the over in the first inning runs?
Oh, it's what is it? It's a no runs first inning, I believe. Okay, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. The BEC, yeah.
I think that was Balls, Eddie, and Clem. Was that crew?
Yep.
So I don't know if that's back this year. I remember having a great time with that last year. The point is, Barstool Sportsbook is the exclusive spot to get these plays. Hockey playoffs is going on, so Chicklets, Rear Admiral, we got Elio. People are getting involved, and exclusively on the Barstool Sportsbook is where you get picks, parlays from us. Barstool Sportsbook, also the official gaming partner of the Zurich Classic this week. Download and create an account today. Use the code FORE to unlock your $1,000 bonus. So we are offering a $1,000 bonus for new players. If your first bet loses, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Barstool Sportsbook lets you bet however you like with daily odds boosts, live in-game wagering, move the line and teaser bets, parlay plus for bigger payouts. iCasino is also available in select states with table games and slots. So download and create an account today. Be sure to use code FORE to unlock your $1,000 bonus. That's the Barstool Sportsbook, code FORE. Terms apply. Must be 21 plus. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's go. Matt Fitzpatrick had some quotes about slow play. He said, essentially, it's appalling. I feel like it's been really since the Bryson situation, which was at Liberty National, which, God, it must have been like 4 years or 3 years ago now. I guess 4 years ago since we've seen slow play get this much action. But Patrick Cantlay really put it in the spotlight at the Masters tournament when the whole tournament largely came down to the final group, to Rahm, to Brooks. And as the tournament starts to shrink, the coverage just watches two guys. We watch two guys stand on tee boxes the whole time. Boom, that puts slow play in the spotlight. People ask Patrick Cantlay about it. He, like every slow player in the history of golf, was like, it's clearly not me. We were waiting on the group in front of us. Not a lot of people were buying that. He's been getting a bunch of shit. Matty Fitz, who's not been known to mince words really, he was asked on Sky News about the entire thing. He called it appalling. He said nothing will ever happen unless the kind of the tours, the bodies, the folks that make the calls actually do something about it, which they never will. He's probably right. His kind of recommendation was that the time should be shrunk because whatever the time currently is, it should be even less. Slow play stinks. Slow play is, I think, one of the great roadblocks to golf, especially getting people into golf, more involved in golf. When you go out, play, and you stand there and you just wait, it's insane. I don't care what world you're in. I said on last year during one of the shows that I'm out on lines in general. I think lines are like a failure of society. I can't believe we have to stand in line. I hate it. So now you just apply that to something that's supposed to be fun and leisurely. It's infuriating to stand there and watch. It's infuriating to watch the clips of Rahm, who's trying to win the Masters tournament, and Brooks Koepka standing there having to wait on tee boxes in the biggest tournament in the world, and nobody's doing anything about it. So yeah, some pretty aggressive words from Matty Fitzpatrick.
They are aggressive, and he's right. Nothing's going to happen until they actually do something, and they could do something. They just, for whatever reason, they won't, and I don't understand that. We talked about the pitch clock in baseball last episode, and I think that's a glowing example of how it can change. My question is, how much does slow play during a golf tournament affect the viewer? Because with baseball, it really cuts it down, right? You go from a 5-hour game to a 3-hour game, and that is a huge difference. That's just massive. But when slow play is happening during an event, and I get that it affects the golfers, it affects the guys like John Rahm and the guys who play fast. Brooks Koepka hates it. But like, how much, like when I'm watching, I get that it's taking a little bit longer, but I'm not thinking, boy, this is going on for way too long, like it would if I were a baseball fan watching a 5-hour game. Do you guys know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to ask that last show where it's like, would we even notice a difference? Because there's still, it's going to be quicker per shot for each guy. Their process will be quicker, but like, will the actual game of golf move so dramatically faster that us as a viewer will notice that they're cutting to each shot quicker, or they're getting more shots in on the broadcast? I don't think so. I mean, me personally, I don't think you would see that big of a difference.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think we've talked about that before, honestly, of the fact that the professional golf broadcast could just cut around it, right? Like, you don't have to watch the guys stand on the tee. They could just go to someone else putting, someone else hitting a shot, someone else going through a routine. And you don't really, unless you're paying close attention, you don't even really process that it's been 15 minutes since you watched one guy putt out on 14 and then they cut to him hitting a tee shot on 15, because they've been able to fill that. They go to commercial. Like I said, they go to a bunch of other, they go to, especially at the Masters, they'll go to, they might go to Colin Morikawa or whatever, finishing up on 18, and he's walking up 18 and people are clapping and he takes his hat off and it's great. And then they cut back and then they do a cool little segment about Amen Corner and next thing you know, you don't even fucking realize that Brooks Koepka and John Rahm have just been standing there for 15 minutes. So I think you're right. I think it probably affects the actual golfers way more than it really affects the viewer. And the slow play is, I think, prevalent every week, every round. The only reason it's in the spotlight right now is because that race came down to largely two guys. They're focusing on the final group, and they almost couldn't cut around the fact that these fucking guys are just standing there. And that's something that we don't usually get to see, and we actually got to see it at the Masters.
And I think as far as how it translates to the weekend golfer, like, nobody likes playing behind slow golfers. I think the clip that came out of Patrick Cantlay of him just taking forever and that getting blasted everywhere, I actually think that would speed up play among weekend golfers, because then when you're out there and you're playing with one of your buddies who takes forever, you can be like, all right, Patrick Cantlay, like, let's hurry this thing up. And it just sort of moves everything forward. So the example of how not to do it from a professional golfer and that going viral, I think ultimately would speed it up faster than the tour speeding up professional play and us never having those clips.
Yeah. I wonder if slow play actually helps TV, like they enjoy that because you get to see more shots of different players. You know what I mean?
Probably easier for them to,
if everything was so quick,
produce.
Way easier. And like, it's almost a better product for the viewer because they get more time to show more golfers between shots. You see way more golf.
It's just infuriating. It's infuriating as a golfer. It's like, dude, just play faster. And Matty Fitz said, he's like, a 3-ball in professional golf should take 4 hours. And he's like, maybe 4.5, but even that, he's like, it would be insane to play slower than 4.5 hours. And he's like, and our rounds take 5:15, 5.5. So that's not even close. It's not like it should take 4:45 and it's taken 5. It's like he said it should be about 4 hours or so, and it's taking 5.5 sometimes. That's not even fucking close.
They can do something about it. We all know that they can do something about it. It's just who's going to take the step, who's going to actually do it. Because once somebody does it, then I think everybody starts to do it. And it's like, I just think these bodies are scared of, well, these guys have been in these routines for so long, and some of them take so long, and golf is such a mental game that you don't want to speed these guys up because then they're not going to play as well. And, are we actually going to dole out these penalties when they take too long over and over and over again? Like, that's what you're going to have to work through if you decide to put your foot down. And I just don't think any of these bodies are willing to do that right now.
Yeah. I don't see them really making any, brash decisions here in regards to changing guys' like their systems and their preparation for each shot. But Danny made a great point on Twitter and on the show last episode where he said golf's like the only sport where you're not able, like, they don't enforce you to just jump into a situation you're not ready for. Like every other sport, the clock is ticking and you just got to go. Whether it's baseball, like that pitch is coming and you have to, if you're not ready, like that, you still have to hit it. You still have to try. In hockey,
football, there's a play clock. The defense has got to be ready.
You just got to be ready. But in golf, there is supposed to be a clock, but they allow these guys, even if they're not fully ready, to attack that ball and go out and do the thing that they're supposed to do. If they're not fully ready and prepared for that, they're able to take as much time as they want until they get ready. There's no aspect of like, you got to go now, regardless of how you feel. And how do you handle that? One of the more amazing attributes in sports is like, how do you handle the pressure situations when like you weren't ready? Right? Like you see some of these amazing wide receivers that like barely get to the line, then they fucking go and then they make a one-handed catch. You're like, how did they even think that quickly? Or a guy in hockey hops off the bench and the puck comes right to him. It's like, you got to go now. You didn't even get a chance to think. It's what makes that argument that golfers aren't athletes way more valid, where it's like, you're just giving them every option to just fucking do whatever they want. It's so slow. An 80-year-old could do it.
That's a great point. And like the argument is always like, well, these guys are playing for such high stakes. They're playing for such money. They're playing for such prestigious titles. You can't hurry them. Like, of course they're going to take their time. And you're like, well, dude, guess what? In the Super Bowl, the defensive back, they're playing for the fucking Super Bowl. They're playing for their career. They're playing for everything. They don't get to just be like, hold on. Once I'm ready, we will play defense now. Like, you don't get to do that.
Right.
Just
Imagine
put a clock on them. Put a clock on them and give them 3 timeouts, like every other sport.
Timeouts, golf timeouts.
Just be like, I need like 2 minutes to talk to my caddy about the situation. Let's take a timeout. Like, let's figure this out. My ball's wedgied in between this fucking whatever. He was on like a pier. Like, just let me figure this shit out. And then I'll come back to my shot. You guys go first, whatever it's got to be. I'm taking a timeout. But every other situation, like we said last episode, have a shot clock on the scorekeeper's little thing. It's like a 30-second shot clock, and that thing should buzz when it hits 30, and you got to go right now, or else you get a stroke penalty. It's go time.
I kind of love golf timeouts because then you got say Brooks Koepka's playing behind you and he's like, why is this taking so long? And then the guy throws up a tee. He's like, all right, he's taking a timeout, but he's only got 2 more of those. So we're not going to have to wait all day. Right. I like that. I mean, they're never going to do that. But it's a very funny idea in theory.
The only reason I don't think they're ever going to do it is because it doesn't affect the viewer like we think it does, or like we think it would. And maybe it would. Maybe golf would be 3 hours on TV. I mean, do we even want that though? Like, aren't Sundays perfect right now, where it's like you toss it on at 2:00, it's on till 6:30. It's just what golf has always been. No one's complaining about the length of golf on TV. We go into it, we come back to it when the leader's on the back 9. It's fine. It's a great product. Does it need to be really quicker? Do we need to change the whole game so that it's an hour faster?
I think it could be quicker.
Yeah,
I do.
Golf.
I don't necessarily agree that like the product's great. It's like it's a little too slow, right? Like I think you could get a little more action packed than it currently is right now.
But that maybe
you got to be watching closely,
group,
dude. You got to be watching real close to notice those things. Like most people
just show a golf shot every second if they want to.
People are flipping
as much action packed as you want.
They're cleaning their apartment. It's Sunday. They're laying low. It's not. I don't think it's that bad right now.
Yeah.
My point's like they could just show like hole 17, 16, and 15, and when the leaders are on 10, you can just keep showing shots if you want to. They just happen to stick on the things that I guess are what people are watching for. But I mean, I don't know. It's not like the other sports where you can actually see a true, like I said, the Brewers game, I think it was a Brewers game, was 2 hours and 10 minutes. Someone sat down, watched that full 9 innings, and by 9 o'clock, it was over. And they're like, that was fucking awesome because I got another 161 of these to watch for the whole year. And I'm fucking furious that these things go until 1 o'clock in the morning.
The only thing you run into is some of the stars being upset. The Matty Fitzes, the Brooks Koepkas, the not Patrick Cantlay's. The guys, some of these guys they're making us think about it, and that's what's happening right now. So
let's just do timeouts. That's more fun.
I like timeouts a lot.
I think the timeout. I think you get one timeout per side, and then there could be officials timeouts, right? Like, so if there's a rules thing going on where you're like, dude, I have to make this decision on this drop from this path. I need to call a rules official. Then there could be like a referee's timeout where that doesn't count against your 2, and you're in that situation. But otherwise, you got like 30 seconds from when you get to your ball or when it's your time, and you just have to hit. And like Frank said, if you're not fully sure about the wind and you want to throw up grass, it's like, guess what, dude? Your clock's running out. Like, you don't get to wait for the wind gusts. You don't get to just stand here forever until everything's perfect. Like, it's go time. You got to hit your shot. And if you do want to be able to be like, dude, I really need on the 12th hole at the Masters tournament, I need to have time to figure out this wind because that's such a tricky spot and it can be so costly. Like, you preserve your timeout through 10 and 11. And if you blow your timeout, you might have to step on the 12th tee and be like, you got to pull the trigger in 30 fucking seconds, dude, with the Masters on the line.
Right, dude. Imagine Trevor's like, oh my God, he blew his timeout on the 4th hole here. He's going to get to 12 and he's just not going to have one. That's going to be a very interesting situation for him.
I would change golf forever. It'd be way more athletic and way more just like chaotic, man. Because guys would just be like thinking about it, talking, and then they'd step up and just have to hit immediately. Like the clock would be at like 3, 2. Well, imagine that on like 12 at Augusta on Sunday. It's like you're changing the sport at that point.
But here's the thing: sports never want to change, and golf is last in line to want to change. But then when it happens, I keep bringing up the pitch clock. That's a big deal. It changes the sport, but it makes it better. When did they put in 3-on-3 hockey overtime?
A couple years ago.
Yeah, not that long.
That felt
6
like
years ago.
Like, that's a change, but it's like these sports can't change. They feel like they're in these set things. Like, there's got to be 162 games. There can't be a pitch clock. These guys got to have as much time as they want. But the changes that eventually get made, some of them really work, and it does change the game, but it changes it for the better. And I'm not saying timeouts are actually the answer, but I am saying they should change something to make it faster.
It can be quite stressful. It can be quite annoying. It can be quite confusing to try to describe the kind of haircut that you want, even if you feel like you get it across. Hard to know if your stylist actually understands you. Too often, hair care results in a hair scare. That's why we're here to talk about the stylists at Sport Clips Haircuts. They speak the language of hair. If you go to salons or you go to some barber in town, if you're not going to Sport Clips, what you could run into and what you're likely going to run into is someone who doesn't necessarily specialize in men's hair. They might not speak your language when you're trying to tell them exactly what you want with a men's haircut. That is why Sport Clips exist. They are the experts in men's hair. You got to take a haircut seriously. You got a big summer coming up. There's humidity going around that can mess with your hair. We got a wedding coming up. Our very own Frankie Borelli, Dan Rappaport, also getting married, wedding season, suits, pictures, the whole deal. You got to make sure you have an expert in men's hair, Trent.
So I went to Sport Clips right before we came to New Orleans. My hair was getting a little bit long. I go in there and I'm very easy. I'm a 1.5 guard all the way around buzz cut. But from now on, I will be referring to that as a 12 on the stip meter because Chris Berman, our guy, said he felt my hair and he goes, that feels like a 12 on the stip meter. So that is how I will be referring to it every time I go to Sport Clips. They're not going to understand it the first time. I'm going to say, I want a 12 on the stip meter on the top of this head. And they're going to be like, what does that mean? And I'm going to be like, just give me the 1.5 like regular. But then every time after that, when I go in there, they're going to be like, this guy gets a 12 on the stip meter. I think that's a good way to measure hair. And it's all because of Chris Berman.
Go get the MVP haircut experience. That means a 7 pressure point massaging shampoo, a perfectly steamed hot towel, and the freedom to not have to stress about a bad haircut. You can get that at Sport Clips. So next time you need a cut, come to Sport Clips, get a head turning haircut from the pros in men's hair.
Would you guys accept if the USGA and all of these like public governing bodies enacted this in public golf? Like, would you be okay if they figured out some sort of technology where like your cart knew that it was your chance to go, and then all of a sudden just like a minute or like a 30-second buzzer just started, and then
Absolutely.
if you didn't hit, it would just start sirening off and until you hit the golf ball, and it just like ruins your day.
No, I think it should be the last 15 seconds of your shot clock. It just goes the show 24. It just goes ding, ding, ding until it gets to it's over, and then you get a crazy loud buzz, and that like ruins your whole day.
I mean, obviously the game of golf for the average person would be way better if there was a shot clock on every single person that played, because then you could go play Bethpage Black, a public golf course that usually takes 6 hours to finish up, and you would be able to play that in 3.5 hours, and everyone would have the best time ever. You'd also lose a ton of people playing the game because it's just way too chaotic, way too quick. They wouldn't be able to do it with all the balls they're losing and hitting the balls into the tree and looking for your ball. It's not the same as a pro. But if they figured out some sort of shot clock system for the public, it would definitely make golf better. But I just don't think that that's realistic or ever going to, that's never going to happen. I just wonder how we would take it as like players.
It's a good point.
We'd be fucking furious with it.
It's a good point because it has to translate to the amateur game. So it has to, it would drive people crazy. I mean, if you were able to keep people golfing, you like golf courses get way more rounds in. Everybody make more money. Like there'd be more people playing. But you'd probably lose a few people because they're like, well, now I come out here to relax. I'm not.
Imagine they had a marshal on every single like fairway, and he just had a fucking air horn. And when you went, he had a fucking shot clock, and then you just heard it go as you're standing over the ball. Move on.
These are drastic changes that are not going to be implemented, but what we're saying is that there needs to be something. We're talking about huge swings, and they won't even change a little bit.
Yeah. And look, for the amateur, the typical weekend golfers, like it's also a balance. Like it's just as shitty when you're with a group or you're in front of a group or whatever that everyone wants to play lightning golf. It's like, well, no, we're out here to a degree we're relaxing. If especially for the most part, I mean, we get to play a lot more now in certain stretches. We play a ton of golf, but usually it's like you're grinding 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. You've been looking forward to Saturday round for a week and a half, a month, whatever it is with your pals. You're out there. You want to take your shot relatively seriously. You want to try to hit good shots because you've been thinking about your game. And now you're supposed to like race around like a madman. So it's tricky because most people that play, I think for the most part, play at a pretty good pace without crazy rushing. You play in 4:15 as a foursome or so, and like it's great. You have a good time. But there's like the few people that are really slow. Like they need to feel like they're racing probably in order for them to play at the normal pace of most people. So you don't want to have everyone running around, but you want it to be faster. And at the end of the day, no one's going to do anything. And in probably 15 years, people will be having the exact same conversation.
Frankie, think about that 9 holes you played at Colonial when you were by yourself and you were walking off yardages and you were playing as slow as you. I think you said you played 9 holes in like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Dude, there'd be flags all over the field. You would not be allowed to do something like that.
I took a call that day. I took a call about pickleball for like 45 minutes on the 6th hole at Colonial, and I laid down on one of the hills, and not one person passed me. No one even came up behind me or in front of me, and I just fucking was one with the ground, and I just kind of leisurely strolled down the fairway. It was crazy.
So that's part of golf too.
That's part of golf. That's part of golf. All right, we're gonna get out to the Zurich Classic. It's Wednesday. We got a lot of see and be seen to get done out there, and then we're gonna see you in New Orleans tomorrow. Is that right, Frankie?
Yeah, absolute grind. Flying in, flying out. We got something going on tomorrow, Thursday. We got the Zurich Classic. We got our merchandise, so everyone
come
just
buy the merch.
Go to the tent.
Riggs and I are wearing some of it right now. These are the hoodies. We got polos. Riggs has got the hat on. We were in there. It's open to the public starting. I mean, obviously Thursday is ticketed. That's when the tournament starts. It's open today, Wednesday. You're not going to hear this, so that's not going to matter. But there's polos, there's quarter zips, there's hats, there's hoodies. It's right in the middle. It's right there. It's by the 9th green, kind of by the Sportsbook. The fan shop is right there. Come in there. We'll be around there. We'll be around the Sportsbook area. We're going to be all over the Zurich Classic. So please come out, buy some merch, and say hello.
So I'm flying in tomorrow. My one request is that we go to that. Is it Irene's? I want to go to that Irene's place tomorrow night if we can. That Italian spot. It's either Irene's or it's Isabella's or it's something with an I.
I forget what it is.
We got to go there. Don't eat Italian tonight. Make sure that you have it ready for tomorrow because I want to go there. I want to get that fucking jambalaya pasta, whatever the hell that was that I got last time. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I really want to go there. Okay.
We can do
Very
that.
exciting. Very exciting.
We're
I'll
going
see
to
you guys
Mr.
there.
B's tonight.
Let's
We're going to
fucking go
Mr.
out.
B's tonight with Dr. Brett McCabe.
Oh yeah. Mr. B's is legit. That's where you're going to get the fried oysters right there.
Let's go.
I can't wait.
Very excited.
I really can't.
All right. Everybody enjoy the Zurich Classic. We will be returning next week. We got a bunch of Barstool Classics next week. We got 2 in Arizona.
Real quick. Did you guys see the Abandoned Dunes is opening up a golf resort in Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's going to be called Rodeo
Really
Dunes.
cool. I think they're calling it like Rodeo Dunes. They're putting 6 golf courses in maybe an hour away, less than an hour away from Denver International Airport. So it's going to be right there, full resort, 6 golf courses all overlooking the fucking mountains, Rodeo Dunes. So sick. Cannot wait to get out there and see. I think the first golf course will be open by 2024, the next one 2025, and they're just going to have a huge golf resort right in one of our favorite states, right off the fucking airport. Amazing.
It looks awesome. These dunes out here in this I can't believe it's that close to the Denver airport, but you're right. It says less than an hour, and they got Core Crenshaw. They've got I believe it's Jim. I think it's Jim Wagner. Is doing. I want to make sure I get the name right because I think it's Jim Wagner's the name, who has worked underneath all the architect kind of icons of this last 10, 20, 25 years. Is fine. You know, they a lot of these guys work underneath, Core Crenshaw, Gil Hance, and then they eventually, like after years, get a shot to kind of design their own course, their own original. And I believe that he is getting one of the sites to build his first original course, or one of his first original courses here as well. So clearly they've got like the big names. They've got a lot of cool stuff going on. The views look awesome. You can go to their website. But yeah, this came across my radar yesterday too, and it looks fucking awesome.
I'm seeing Jim Craig.
Jim Craig. Okay. Jim Craig's also the name of the goalie for the United States. Yeah, Miracle on Ice.
I was going to say Jim Craig because I read it, and then I was like, it can't be Jim Craig because that's the goalie from Miracle on Ice. There's no chance it's Jim Craig, and I didn't want to be an idiot, and it ended up being Jim Craig. So I
jumped
really
in there. I read this thing. I'm googling, and it said initially one course by Bill Core and Ben Crenshaw, a second course by Jim Craig. So
that's awesome.
It's going to be phenomenal.
It's going to be phenomenal. This Jim Wagner is a guy that works alongside Gil Hance. That's clearly where I got that from. Jim Craig, amazing performance in the 1980 defeat of the Soviet Union. So congratulations to him. And then now a different Jim Craig is getting his own course at Rodeo Dunes. But yeah, this place looks awesome. And then on that front too, I got to tour Pinehurst 10th course. That's going to be a Tom Doak, the first Tom Doak course in the Pinehurst area. It's at the Pit, which is about 10 minutes away from the main campus of Pinehurst. They own I don't know how many acres it is, like 900 acres or something crazy. That used to be a golf course called the Pit that Pinehurst has been debating what to do with for a long time. And Tom Doak came in last year, and they were consulting with him. The crew at Pinehurst, Bob Dedman, who's the owner, who's a fantastic guy, Tom Pashley, we know incredibly well, kind of the whole crew at Pinehurst. And anyways, Tom Doak got the green light to do the 10th course at Pinehurst at this new site, got to tour it. I think they've got, a dozen or so greens are kind of already laid out, and, they haven't put grass necessarily on them yet, but it's coming along. I think by the end of the year or so, they're going to have preview play going on, and that course is going to open by next year. And it looks awesome. Absolutely awesome. Tom Doak is a very bold designer. He we played Pacific Dunes, which is maybe the only Doak course that we've all played, but yeah, it's going to be really, really, really cool. So got to tour that as well. So clearly golf's doing well, and we're watching like resorts and courses pop up all over the place.
How many times throughout that tour of Pinehurst number 10 did you find yourself standing there pretending to know what you were looking at?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that.
It's like, oh, this is
it's
beautiful.
kinda-
This is beautiful. It's like, it's just, I don't know what I'm looking at.
You just know that we don't have it like they do because, like you said, Trent, I'm looking at it like, yeah, it's like a hill and a couple pine trees. That's sick. Yeah, it's gonna be great, and you just don't. I can't see it. So you're right. There's a few, like I said. Luckily they're far enough along now. I feel like after a couple months that there's spots where it's already in. There's grass has been planted. There's sod that's been put down, whatever. But there are also spots where they're like, yeah, this is gonna be this tee shot here, and these tee boxes are gonna come together. The 13th hole is gonna go out that way, and I'm like, yeah, it's trees and dirt.
Beautiful.
And that's sweet. Yeah, you're gonna love that. So you're right. There's definitely a good amount of that goes on, but yeah, Rodeo Dunes.
Not exciting, man. That Rodeo Dunes sounds
crew.
fucking cool, man.
Awesome. We're pro Colorado on this show.
I watched this fucking clip. This high school wrestling match. Dave just tweeted out. This kid fucking gets pinned down, loses the match, walks up, shakes the kid's hand, just fucking sucker punches him right in the face. I never seen anything like that.
I saw that.
The kid's face actually. His head gets popped off. I'd never seen someone's head get popped straight back like that.
I got tagged in that because apparently I look like the referee.
Oh, you do look like the referee. You do look like the referee. Holy shit. Dude, I've really never seen a sucker punch like that.
It's bad, yeah.
Fake the handshake and just break the kid's nose. That is, Dave wrote straight to jail. I mean, I agree. You can't do that. It's just
Definitely
not allowed in sports. It's over. The match is over. You can't be punched like that. Wow.
That's allowed anyway.
Tweet.
All right. Well, Frank, people are going to know by the time this thing airs, but good luck tonight.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that.
That's
a win tonight.
Video.
Bring it. Oh, you seen that punch? It's a crazy video.
Shit.
Yeah. A win tonight. We bring it back home to UBS. Fuck me, man. Let's go. Just win a hockey game. They can do it too. They've done it. 5-on-5, they won 1-0 last game. We just got to be better on the fucking special teams. We got to be better. They went 0 for 4, and Carolina went 2 for 4. It's as simple as that.
We're gonna win tonight. Let's do it. All right, we're gonna be out at the Zurich Classic. Everybody, go buy merch. Go check out the Barstool Sportsbook. We'll be back on Tuesday next week. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.